Hey everybody, so I have had my Sasori for about a week now, so it's time to do some updated thoughts. And first off, let me just say that this balisong is amazing. So the Sasori, I think it's pretty unanimous that everyone loves machine-wise, and everyone I think has been pretty much unanimously likes the Tutori. The only real discussion I've seen surrounding the new machine-wise products has been on the Sasori, because some people really do not like this blade design. Now, in my personal opinion, this is the kind of design that's going to grow on you as you get more and more used to it. But also, I think that this design is worlds better than the design they originally showed. So, you know, I would take anything over that. So, this balisong actually flips super well. It has incredible tolerances that have held up. Not really too shocking there. And the way it flips is great. Now, it does have an adjustable weight system that I messed with as soon as I got it. It comes with it has two sets of weights, heavier ones and lighter ones, and it comes with the lighter ones pre-installed. Machine-wise, describe them themselves as being the lightweights are slightly blade biased and the heavy ones are neutral. And in my experience, that is exactly true. The lighter weights that it comes with are slightly more blade biased, and if you put the heavy weights in, it's very neutral. Fans very well, very flat. I'm not exactly sure why it ships with the lightweights in, honestly, because I think that the heavyweights flip better for me, and I think that for most people they would prefer the heavyweights. So my only thought there is that they're shipping it with the lightweights so that way people are forced to try them, because otherwise I don't think most people would ever try them because the heavyweights are just so good. That's my little conspiracy theory about that. You know, could be any number of reasons though. So this is a first production Sasori, and in terms of things that I wanted to complain about, there are actually a few things that I don't like about this balisong, and I will get into that. So in general, I think that the grip on it is great. It does have the issue a little bit where the grip on this balisong is going to change drastically depending on the climate you're in. If it is dry out, it'll feel completely different than if it's humid. And of course, that is the case with any balisong. But when it comes to the Sasori, if it's like really humid outside, this milling and this texturing on the handles is way too grippy and almost feels like sandpaper, from what I remember. Now, it's not super humid today, so it feels great, but if it is super humid where you live, this balisong does have an extreme amount of grip, in my opinion. Some other things is that I got a blemished model, so I don't know if that is why this would be the case, and I don't know how well this will show up on camera. But, so the Zen pins. The Zen pins are flat on all sides, except for one of mine. One of mine, the Zen pin is sort of rounded over like this, instead of being flat like all the other ones. And I really hope it shows up on camera, because it is very noticeable if you're looking up close in real life. And it's really annoying me, because it's not rounded on both sides. It's rounded on this side, but not that side. And what I'm assuming happened is that Machine-Wise must get or make their Zen pins in long rods that they then chop up into little Zen pin sized pieces. And so that little rounded piece must just be from the end of the rod, which, if that's the case, that's fine. But I think that if you're going to do that machine-wise, you should make sure that you're pairing up the two ends together so that one side of the balisong will just have both of them rounded and the other side they'll both be flat, versus one random side on one random handle being rounded and everything else being flat. So that is my one complaint. Like I said, I got it blemished, so I don't know if they did mine like that because it was a blemish, so it wasn't as big of a deal what the Zen pins look like, or if that's just something that could happen to all of them. Regardless, it's still slightly annoying. Another thing is, apparently in the pre-production units, these end weights, they actually were really hard to get out. Like, you would have to use some kind of tool to get them out. And in my opinion, on the first production model, they are still way too hard to get out. Now, you can get them out without too much difficulty, but you are going to need some kind of tool. Basically, you take out the screw here, and these weights just come right out like that. The problem is that there is so much friction between the weight and the handle that you actually can't just pull it out like that. You have to get like a screwdriver or something, put it in the channel, and then press it that way to move this out, like basically all of the way, and then you can grab it and pull it out the rest. Now I know that the tolerances between the weight and the handle need to be super tight, because otherwise you're going to run the risk of the weights rattling, since they're only being held in by one screw. But I feel like they could make it just a tiny bit looser, which would just make it that much easier to get out, because it's almost possible to pull it out with just your hands, but for me it's just not quite possible. Those are mostly my two biggest complaints about this, is the Zen pin weird rounded spot, and then the weights are still a little difficult to get out. One thing I did want to mention about this balisong, if you're considering buying it, is the size. So the handles, everyone knows that they're shorter than normal machine-wise ones, and everyone says, oh, these are fine, why were we worried? But one thing that no one seems to be saying is that the handles on this are noticeably smaller than every other balisong. If you compare a Sasori, and I'm sure a Totori, to a normal balisong, the handles are shorter. Like, compared to my Nautilus, these are shorter. Compared to a Vulp, they're shorter. They're not just shorter than normal machine-wise, they're shorter than normal balisong handles. The Sasori is still a normal length balisong, because the blade is a lot longer than most balisongs, but the handles themselves are actually like a ½ inch or so shorter than most regular balisong handles. But it's not it is noticeable, like I said, but it isn't something that is a problem, and I have pretty large hands. Like, I can tell that the handles are not quite as long, but that doesn't affect it as much as this next thing. This balisong is really thin. So this balisong is about 1 to 2 millimeters thinner than your standard balisong, and I know that doesn't seem like much, but I come from the world of speed cubing with Rubik's cubes, and 1 to 2 millimeters is a difference that is not only instantly noticeable in the hands, it is a very big difference in the feel of your hands. As soon as you pick this up, you're gonna notice that it is so much thinner than what you're used to, even though visually it's almost identical. Now, none of these are things that I think are bad. They don't bother me at all. It's just something I noticed that I was not prepared for. So I think if you're looking at buying one of these, it's something you should be aware of. Overall, like I said, the flipping is great. None of the downsides I have with it affect the flipping, so I think that is a win. Can I get a double scissor? No. That was pretty much how my week with this has been. I've just been thoroughly enjoying it, flipping it pretty much non-stop. It's one of the best aluminum sounding balisongs I've ever heard. So there's that. And I haven't oiled this for like a few days, so it's definitely dry right now, which is just the other crazy thing. But that's what a machine-wise tune will do for you. But yeah, that was pretty much what my my thoughts were on this balisong. Hope you've all had a wonderful day, and if you guys could subscribe if you stayed this long. Trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But till next time, keep flipping.